just knowing the type of person that you have to be in those moments to continue pushing through and continue moving forward, right, is so valuable for me to know that I can do those things. What up, world? And welcome back to episode 4 of our 30 for 30 series, where we're diving into 30 lessons that I've learned over 30 years of my life. I just wanted to quickly share that the lessons that we're going over, I'm not actually reading them beforehand. So everything that you're getting is super candid thoughts about the lessons that I previously wrote down months ago. And so I hope that it can come off that way, because I'm just literally speaking from the heart, candidly, about whatever comes to my mind. I mean, there's a reason I wrote them down, so figured be kind of fun to do it that way. So without further ado, we will go ahead and dive into lessons 16 through 20. If you haven't heard the first couple episodes, go back and listen to them. Pause this, go back, listen, and then we can get caught up here. So here we go. Number 16. Being an extrovert doesn't mean you're outgoing, but that you get energy from other people. This one's funny to me because I guess I never actually knew what an extrovert was. I always thought that as an extrovert, it just meant that you were outgoing. And so that's always how I interpreted the word. However, somebody told me, and then I had looked it up one day, that being an extrovert doesn't actually mean that, like, technically. What it means is that you get energy from other people. And so it's funny that it's on here, because it's not like this super crazy breakthrough, but it was just this concept I had in my head for, 28, 29 years that I always thought to be true. And it wasn't. It was something that I was like, it was like one of those aha moments. And so, maybe the underlying lesson there is that things may not always be what we think them to be, right? And to always be coachable would be like another underlying lesson there. So, and I know that I'm an extrovert in that sense. Like, I get energy from other people. I love my personal time. I love my alone time. I do use it strategically and honestly pretty enjoyably in order to just sit back, like get energy from relaxing for a minute. But deep down, when I interact with other human beings on a physical level, I get energy from other people. So just a point for you to reflect on. Are you an introvert? Do you love your alone time? That's where you get energy. Are you an extrovert? You may not necessarily even love being around other people all the time, but if you know that you get energy from them, good chances that you're an extrovert. I'm sure that there's a good balance of them both as well. So that's number 16. Number 17, the harder the challenge, the more satisfying the reward. This somewhat stems back to a previous lesson that we talked about in an earlier episode, where we were talking about a direct correlation between fear and fulfillment. Similarly, in my experience, the harder that something has been and I've completed, the more satisfying that reward and the more rewarding the feeling. So, for example, getting into ultra marathons for the first time, like, hard, very hard, a lot of times to push through, when there is physical pain, physical discomfort, mental pain, mental discomfort. You're at, mile 24 in the mountains, and the only way forward is through, and that you're, on, for example, I was doing a 43-mile race in like the Mount St. Helens area in Washington, and knowing that I still had, 13, 15 miles to go, and I was hurting, like pushing through those times, the end result coming across that finish line and looking back on things is so rewarding. And just knowing the type of person that you have to be in those moments to continue pushing through and continue moving forward, right, is so valuable for me to know that I can do those things. Same thing with work side of things, like making so many calls and then finally getting that one yes that ultimately has a breakthrough in your career or your finances or whatever it may be, or working towards whatever your personal goals. That is just something that I found to be true for myself, is that the harder the challenge, the more satisfying the reward. Number 18, you truly get out what you put in. And so, I mean, this one we've heard, it's super cliche. You know, I just am a firm believer that whatever you get out or whatever you put in, you're going to get out. Whether you put in a little, probably going to get out a little. You put in a lot, going to get out a lot. That's not to say that it's the right or wrong thing, right? I think a key point here is that it is a neutral thing, right? There is no feeling associated with this lesson that I have learned. And maybe this isn't true for you. Maybe you continue to just put in and you're not actually getting what you think you deserve. That may not be the case for you, but for me, what I put in, I get out consistently. And, it might be the right thing. It might be the wrong thing, but you're going to get out what you put in ultimately. And similarly with like time investment, right? And activities. So yeah, that was number 18. Number 19, early mornings, when capitalized on, breed confidence and clarity. So does planning ahead. So it looks like I put a couple things in here on this one, planning for one, and then early mornings. And we kicked off the very first episode with early mornings, number one. And I think number one lesson was that early mornings are my best mornings. Just for some additional context here, it looks like I wrote down early mornings breed confidence and clarity. So that was an interesting point that we didn't dive into on that first episode. And if you want more context, go back and listen to that first one. But the confidence and clarity, early mornings for me have brought a sense of accomplishment, right? Getting up, getting things done bright, early, getting work done, and getting a sweat in. Those things happening before 8 a.m., like I am a very confident person going into my day. Alternatively, when those things aren't done consistently, then I start having it's not even like it's doubts with myself, it's just a feeling of dissatisfaction, knowing that I love doing those things and didn't execute on them, and knowing that they helped me and didn't execute on them. And so that's where the confidence piece comes in. And the clarity comes in when I write in the mornings, things are crystal clear. When I run and sweat and it's dark out and I'm thinking, things become more clear. And so I have found a lot of answers that I seek on early morning runs. I have found a lot of answers that I seek when I get back after a run and actually put those thoughts onto paper. That's where early mornings breeding confidence and clarity comes from. And then planning ahead goes along with being prepared, as we touched on earlier. So yeah, planning ahead and planning out your week, planning out your month. I'm not perfect at this at all. Like I have a little slot in my calendar where I try to do it. More oftentimes it doesn't get done than when it does. But I think that, for me, this is a lesson that I have learned, because I know that planning ahead actually does bring confidence and clarity, and it allows me to move with certainty and also excitement, because then I'm having those things that I'm looking forward to doing and knowing that they need to get done. Number 20 here, and the last one for this episode. There are a lot of benefits to remote work, but nothing will ever compare to being face-to-face with another human. That is the only way that I get real human connection. This is a tough one, because the reality of the situation is that our world has changed forever. Even before COVID, like things were going digital, things were going virtual. COVID, obviously beating the dead horse here, but expedited everything in this virtual and digital world. And the majority of my days are Zoom calls and meetings over Zoom and over the computer. And it is extremely valuable to be able to get things done, to interact with your team that's remotely. And I like to, I have really good relationships with people over the phone, over Zoom, over meetings that are happening over a computer. And you can get a lot of work done over the computer. At the end of the day, going back to the idea of being that extrovert, I get energy from other humans. Like there is something to be said about being in a room physically with other people that a computer just cannot beat. And this is, again, my experience, different for everybody. This is something that I just feel super passionate about. And like to the point where I've thought about like man, should I open up a coffee shop someday where, people come and A, I love coffee. B, I love human connection. People can just come and have coffee and work, at the coffee shop, do their remote digital working, but still be around other people. And I know that this is, we have thousands and hundreds of thousands of coffee shops, but it's just something that I've thought about in the sense of like, just continuing to really bring human connection back into the picture, because I feel like it's missing in a lot of our lives, mine included. And so that one's special to me. Not to discount remote working at all. Like, I love remote work for so many benefits, right? It allows you to be super productive with your time. I think that there is a tremendous amount of focus that you gain and that you get back, because funny enough, like, I love being around humans. I'm an extrovert. I get energy from other people. However, oftentimes people are also my biggest distraction when I'm trying to really focus and get things done. So, there's just this balance. And so one thing that I'll do is break up my day and go to a coffee shop here in town, or go do something outside, like get into the gym. Anytime Fitness here is what I joined. I know I mentioned this on a previous episode, but I joined a gym. Yeah, because I love the gym and want to have a place to work out, but also because I want to do it around other people, and not just in my living room, and not just with me and the YouTube video telling me what to do. There's just something to be said about it. Like, yeah, I could do my Toastmasters meetings virtually online, never have to leave my house. That's not who I am. And so just staying true to who I am and wanting to be around other people is so crucial to me. And again, I totally get, like, everybody is different. So that's just something that for me, that is what is true to me. That's a lesson that I continue to learn throughout these last 3 years specifically, is that nothing for me can beat real human connection. So when I started with DocuSign this past year, it was so crucial for me to fly out. I flew out that first week and went and met my entire team in person, which was so valuable for me to have that basis of a relationship where I know them as humans on a physical and real level. So there we go. That is number 16 through 20. I challenge you, take one of those and go implement it this week. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are, whether you agree, whether you disagree. I would love to hear any feedback. Again, if you're finding any value in this, would really appreciate any 5-star ratings and reviews that you wouldn't mind leaving. It's super helpful to the channel and helping me reach a grander audience. And again, I really don't know who's listening, so reach out if you are. I'd love to hear it. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode when we dive into lessons 21 through 25.